Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Into My GT Entertainment, and I am Joel. Today, we are going to take Wasp out for a couple little errands, and we're going to discuss a couple things I like, a couple things I don't like, a couple things I wish they would have changed from the get-go, that type of video. I've had her for almost 3 months, I guess. It only has 800 miles on it, so let's go put some miles on it and do some stuff, and catch you in a minute. But before we get started on our errands, let me give you a cold start in quiet mode with Wasp. Let's get in there and go do our drive. And how do y'all like the new sweatshirt there? How you walk into the interior of this car. Oh, sorry. Turn this down. Alright. So this is what you got when you walk in here and it's started. It says, hey, you got a fat person in the chair, time to put your seatbelt on. So go ahead and flip this around and we'll have our conversation while we drive. All right, everybody, so get on down the road here. Have a little discussion about Wasp and kind of get into her a little bit and see what this car is all about and where we are with it at the moment. Like I said, I want to go over some of the things that I kind of like on the car. It's different. There's a couple things I don't like and don't understand why they didn't do. And then probably some changes that are probably going to come down the road with it. For y'all that don't know, Wasp is my 2024 Mustang GT Premium Pack. It's got the track pack, it's got everything on it. Active exhaust. Pretty much everything that you can get on this car, minus colored seat belts and stuff like that. It's been lowered already on Steeda Pro Magnaride springs. The wheels have been changed to the Belgian VF10s, 315s in the rear and 285s in the front. And the car handles and drives great. No complaints about that. It's a tad bit slow, but coming from a 716 horsepower car, you know, it feels like it drags a little bit. Even the ST, I think, would walk this at the moment, but you know, it's not tuned. Both of those cars are tuned and, you know, done up a little bit, so you got to compare apples to apples, I suppose. But for the most part, it's a comfy ride. It's got all the amenities that electric doesn't have. Electric has heated seats but doesn't have cooled seats. It's got the whole infotainment center. You know, I've upgraded the stereo in my car there, so you know, it's kind of, you know, mine has the Android Auto and all the good stuff. Let me get into this. See, it's a little slow. I don't do that very often, so I just wanted to get into her a little bit, see how she felt. So if my shifts are a little off, I get better. It's not electric for sure. But anyway, with that being said, the infotainment center itself, you know, I have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in mine, but mine's wired. It's not wireless like this car. And my stereo is roughly 10 years old versus this one being brand new at the box type deal. So, but she sounds good and she moves a little bit. like I said, maybe I'm just being unfair and just not, you know, what I'm compared to, you know, comparing it to, I suppose. But like I said, she handles great. If anything, she handles way better than my car. My car's got the suspension done, sway bars, and everything. This one has a stop the hop kit on it. So, you know, when you do get into it, you don't have the S50, S650 bounce to the rear. I don't think you have it so much in this car, but I didn't want to take the chance. So if I'm going to start building this car up, you know, I'm going to go ahead and start doing all the baseline stuff correctly. That's why I did with the camber plates in the front, because with these cars, I know I've mentioned it before in other videos, you have the side to side, is it the back? I don't know. It's one way or the other. This car has the toe, but no camber to it from the factory, so there's no adjustment. It is what it is. So for the most part, if you wanted to do it, you would have a bow in like that after you did the suspension, because you didn't have no way of fixing it that way. The way I did it, you do. So now the tires sit straight up and down, and you have perfect steering on it right now. But yeah, like I said, I'm just going to drive around, do some errands. I'm going to jump in and chime in and talk about, you know, good old Wasp here. And, you know, I do enjoy her. Like I said, she has, what is it? 818 miles on it. So, and the reason for that is because I don't drive a lot. I work from home. And by the time I get off at 5, you know, I don't really have much that I need to do. It's dinner time or whatever, so it's just rinse and repeat. So I don't really have anywhere to go. It's not that I'm ignoring the car, because I don't really drive any of my cars that much. I have, you know, Electra just hit over 40,000 miles on it, and I've had that for 10 years. And then I have Nightwing, which I've had a little over a year in August, so, you know, a year and a couple months, and that one just hit 8,000 miles. So, and that's because that one's been to Myrtle, it's been to North Carolina, it's been doing different little trips versus, you know, staying at home with these. And that's what Electra has a lot of highway miles on it, because it's been to the beach a couple times, it's been at Myrtle Beach a few times, you know, so that's where a lot of the mileage comes in. So, well, anyway, I'm getting off subject. Let me get to where I got to go real quick, and then we'll continue on. All right, everyone. So one of the first things that I do not like in this car is this wireless charger. I was kind of hyped for it at first, but with the phone, as you can see, I have it over here with a corded charger right now. What happens, let me unplug it and I'll show you. So you get your phone, you lay it in the compartment. Let me clear all this crap. Sorry. So okay, you're sitting there, it'll be charging or whatever. It'll show up here that your phone's charging or whatever you got going on. But then the phone will slide. So as it's sliding around, you'll see your phone cut on and off, because it's charging, not charging, charging, not charging. So they should have put maybe like a dual pad or a triple pad across here to so it'll catch it charging no matter where. So like I said, that's one of the things I don't like. At least they made it big enough to get into the bigger phones now with the cases. So, and I've done it without the cases too, just to see if it was a case issue, but it's actually the charger, because it'll slide around and do whatever. So it's not the funnest part about that, but you know, you got a cord, you go back to the old way. And like I said, it has wireless Android Auto or, you know, CarPlay, so you don't have to have it plugged up over here anyway. Okay, one more thing here up front that I kind of don't like. When you start the car, I have it in my custom mode right now. So as you can see right here, it has my sport suspension, steering, my sport exhaust, but it has the normal dash. when you start the car, it goes back to normal default. So it goes normal exhaust, whatever. I wish it would hold whatever your last preset was. Right now mine's in the custom. Ford's never done that for whatever reason. It's the same thing with the Explorer. You know, everything goes back to, defers back to normal, even if you like driving in sport most of the time or whatever. It's more of a nitpick than a you know, deal breaker. You know, it's just kind of one of those things you get used to. You just start the car and you can put it on your profile and go about your business. But like I said, it would have been nice to go ahead and keep that the way it was, but you know, we all good. All right, guys, another thing that I'm kind of on the fence about is the actual shifter. It's just nice, but it seems when you put it into gear, it has like a clunk, like a little, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it's almost, I guess it's because it's a dual clutch now. It has like a little clunk to it, and it's not a bad clunk. It's nothing like, you know, a deal breaker or something, you know, is broken or anything weird. It's just not expected. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it here in a second or not. Hold on, let me stop real fast, get this straight. Okay, I'm stopped, so we'll put in gear. You hear that thump? I don't know. And it only does it that one time. So it does it right when you're put the clutch in and then go into your first gear. So like I said, it's a dual clutch thing, I believe. I think mine does it in my car now. But you know, yeah, don't want to expect it on a new car. You know, on an older car that you change stuff in, you kind of go with the flow with that. But you know, I don't know if let's see here, I'm done messed up my camera here, guys. But you know, I don't know if it's something that all of them do. So just another thing. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm here at the drive-through. One of the things that I do like and don't like, is kind of a mixed thing, is the way that the car itself will kind of self-drive. Well, at least with the, not self-drive, but with the clutch itself. It makes it easy for this, because all you do is barely let off and the car will roll, and you don't have to worry about it stalling out or whatever. Sometimes you don't expect it. Especially if you're driving something else and you jump back into this, it'll lunge on you because you let off too fast. So, you know, but it's something, again, that it's kind of nice. So if you have never driven a manual before, I think it's a nice feature, because the car itself will put itself in the first gear, and all you gotta do is worry about the rest of the gear. So that whole trying to get the gas and you know, clutch at the right time, that's kind of irrelevant these days. Now it just kind of does it on its own, and I'll show you right now. I'm in first. I'm just letting off the clutch, foot not even on the gas, going around this corner, no problem. And then if I was on a straightaway, you could shift to another gear and be good to go. So it's kind of a nice feature, you know, especially if you aren't familiar with clutch driving. I know these days the manual is more of a scarce thing, but at least it gives you that opportunity to enjoy having it without all the worries that you do before. Just a little side note. Still in the same line, and I'm been here just thinking, and I was like, another thing that I wish they would have done better, you know, you got the B&O stereo in this car, and maybe for some of y'all that sounds pretty good. The Explorer has a B&O and it sounds a little better, but maybe it's because of the way that the design is and the way the sound bounces. I think it's not as good in this car. Like I said, it's not horrible, you know, and you don't buy really a Mustang to be listening to music like that anyway. But, you know, for me, that has always come from that side of life. It kind of bothers me at times. Sometimes it doesn't, but you know, like I said, we're managing with it, and I think it'll work itself out. So as I'm driving back to the house now, want to talk about the screens. Actually, I like them. They're not obtrusive. They're not like all in your face like I thought this car would normally, or when it first came out, you know, that it would be like. I think it's nice. I would have probably kept the sides and maybe built up the dash around it so it just doesn't look like a big old slab of tablet slapped on the dashboard. But other than that, you know, I don't know if someone in the aftermarket can make like a cover, you know, that brings it all together, you know, more of a smooth look to it. But for the most part, you know, it looks really nice. It reacts to what you need it to do. So like I said, in compared to my other car, you could use either your Android map or the regular map while still in Android, where prior to my other car, even the Explorer, and that's a 22, it uses one or the other. It doesn't use both. So that's kind of nice too. Another thing that I like, but I'm not too keen on, is the red matching. I like that it has it, and in certain circumstances I think it's really nice. The only thing I wish that Ford would have kind of tweaked out of it, or maybe you could do it later on with a tune, is not to rev match into first gear, because I don't think it's not even a point of what you need to do that for. It's more annoying when you come to a stoplight and you're like, right when you get into stopping mode. So it's kind of a weird sensation, and if you don't expect it, or people are looking at you kind of funny, don't care what people think, then, you know, it really doesn't matter. But it's just weird. But like I said, I don't use the rev matching all the time. When I'm playing around, I'll turn it on. But like for my normal driving, I don't have it in there. I don't need a rev match to every stoplight or every you know, signal and whatever. I don't need to do that. Not for me anyway. So again, I do like the rev matching, but I wish they would have worked on it a little better. So when you go to, you know, when you go downshift and you go into first gear, you know, it don't sit there and hit the rev match. A lot of people, I know, I usually just throw it in neutral before I hit a stop sign. I don't even go into first, but on the occasion that I do, it has done it. So it kind of catches you off guard. So again, it's just a little nitpick. There's nothing that I really hate about this car. There's some stuff on the outside that I will show you here in a few that I wish it did have. And then just go from there, and then probably get into what's about to go on to this car and why I'm going in that direction and what the future is for this car. So I'm going to probably stop, eat my breakfast, and then continue on with the video. All right, everyone. Well, I just finished up breakfast, and have you ever gone to Chick-fil-A and got no chicken? Yeah, we did that today. I got a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Pam got a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. So, hey, why not, right? But on to the story. All right, something that I wish they would have added, and I know I mentioned this in the last video if y'all didn't watch it, was fog lights. I've always seen Mustang with fog lights. The Jeep has got fog lights. You know, the Explorer has fog lights. As you can see, the California Specials have the little puddle lights. I think even if they're not effective as a fog light, they at least add an attraction to the front end. Like I said, I think it would have made this look a little better. But I understand the conundrum with it, because this side right here is blocked off because of the ECU. This side is open, but it has a cooler behind it. These vents, this one and that one, are actually open to go into the air boxes. Down below, I guess they could have maybe done something down there, but maybe it's just the actual aesthetics or the science behind it, you know. And then in the grill, of course, they want to keep this open, or I guess they didn't want to go with the old style where they had like the Boss 302 lights or something like that. I'm sure the aftermarket will kick in. And while we're in the front end of the grill, I don't know if y'all have noticed, there's like little lights in these corners right here and right there. Now, I don't know what the main purpose of it is. They light up at night, but they really don't do anything. I know if you buy the RTR grill, I think though you can use those plugs to light up the RTR grill. So I don't know if it was something that they were planning ahead with them, but other than that, I don't understand the point of them. I don't understand the point of having those little lights, because they really don't do too much. Maybe, like I said, they're just showing you an access point for future stuff. If they do have fog lights, you know, the RTR grill has those lights that go on each side of the corners. So maybe it's just one of them deals. All right, coming back to the rear of this car. Now, I know there's always a discussion with the new cars in the rear end, which after a while you get kind of used to it, and it kind of blends in, and you don't really pay attention to the wedge lights, or, you know, not having a black panel or what have you. The only thing I think they should have done, and it probably wouldn't have been hard for them to do, but if you get the Night Pony package like I got, you know, black wing, black mirror caps, black hood, roof, excuse me, the accents and the lights, the bezels, I think they should have done rear black tips. I wouldn't think that would be too hard of a thing to do, but you know, against my pay grade, I guess it's over my pay grade. But like I said, I think that would have been a nice little touch from a GT versus, you know, a GT with a performance pack. It'll tie things in together, because, you know, you got everything black there, but you got chrome tips. What's chrome on this car? There's nothing chrome on this car. So, you know, it's just one of them like afterthoughts that I think that should have been, you know, a designer thing going, you know, hey, if they get the black accent pack, you know, we'll go ahead and add black tips to it, you know. But, you know, who am I, right? Just to put it in perspective, see, I have black tips on here. These came with the chrome tips, and I think it just ties in everything together. Now, I did have a little chrome on here, but I do have black badging if I wanted to ever switch those around, and then it would be black lettering with, I don't know if there's chrome on there or not, but you know, I'm just saying, I think it ties things in a little better versus, you know, having a chrome versus having a whole blackout package. And sitting here looking at the car, why does Ford use 19-inch wheels? Can someone comment that? Is it because it's something they have a deal with, or maybe it's more track oriented? Because the 20s look so much better. They fill in the gaps so much better. It rides just as good, or not better. You know, I get it if you're gonna track it, maybe a 19 is a better tire or a better rim for that situation. But for everybody's everyday use, I think a 20-inch wheel looks so much nicer on the car than a 19 does. And like I said, I have the performance pack wheels sitting in the other garage, and those were 19s, and they're not wide. These cars can handle such a wide tire. These are 315 35 20s, and that's a 285 35 20. And what came on it was a 255 19 for the front and a 275 for the rear, which, you know, the car can take so much more. No rubbing, no issues. So that's probably something I would probably look into too, because everybody changes it, and maybe it's a deal with the aftermarket. You know, we'll just put whatever on these cars, mass produce them, and then they can kind of settle it in the aftermarket. I don't know, but like I said, a lot of people change wheels. So, you know, it's just, I guess, because I mean, that's got 20s on it. This has got 22s, but of course it's an SUV. She's got my 20s on it right there, and then that has 20s on it also. And the good thing is they're all interchangeable, so you know, I could put these rims on that car and that one on these, and you know, what have you. If I bought bigger tires, I could put them on the SUV, taller tires that is. So you know, everything I have kind of interchanges, so we'll go from there. All right, and the last thing I think they should have changed, and again, might be an aftermarket thing, is the front spoiler. Now, as you can see, the GTs don't have much of a front spoiler. I can't remember if the Dark Horses have a different front spoiler. I know there's an RTR one out for it, you know, but by the time you get the spoiler and the belly pan part that goes with it, you don't have to get the belly pan part, but you know, that's a $600 spoiler versus, you know, it should, at least the ones that came with the performance pack should have had a different spoiler. Leave the regular GTs with this spoiler and then put the performance pack on with a different spoiler, just like the California Special. As you can see, it has that type of lip on there, which differentiates from a normal GT. I'll show you on the V6 because I changed the front of it, and then it has just a regular spoiler on it. And like I said, it adds a whole different look to it. I don't know if I'm going to get the RTR for it. I kind of like having the clearance with it. I could still go everywhere with it lowered. I don't want to have it so far down, and I haven't seen one in person yet, so I don't know if it's going to come down more. Because like, if you look at Brandon's GT500 lip and whatever and all that, it sits so low that, you know, he has trouble getting in this driveway, much less going anywhere with speed bumps and yada yada yada. So, but anyway, that's neither here or there. It's just one of those things. I think they should have had a different style lip. And like, again, you know, maybe when they come out with the different variations of the cars, this is a first year car, so you know, they might improve on that a little later and whatever. But it's just my thought on that. And let me show you what I'm talking about with the lip difference between the GT California Specials versus the normal GT and the V6 front end. All right, so as you can see here, this is my V6. I have put the California Special grills in it just to give it a more look. I didn't like the little chrome pony that it used to have. But anyway, judging by the lip, as you can see, it has a lip almost similar to the GT. There's nothing really there, nothing will get in your way. You know, it's kind of plain Jane, you know. But like I said, it's just one of those things. I think they should have at least emphasized the lip a little more on the premium packs. All right, everybody, this is the portion of this video what I'm going to do with Wasp. Now, I have a little battle royal going on here between Loki and Truffles. They've been chasing each other around the house, so please forgive them. But as you can see, the box behind them has a set of Cook's headers. I'm going to go outside and discuss what is going on with that. All right, as you saw, I have a set of Cook's long tube headers for Wasp. I don't know when I'm putting them on. I just got a good deal on them, and they are the green set, so they are, you know, OEM and supercharger ready and blah 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 and da 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 da. What I wanted to do is just open up the breathing of the car a little bit. I still need to get it dynoed. I was in touch with Kevin, our local tuner down here that has a dyno, and we were supposed to get with it, but you know, holidays and stuff going on, you know, it just whatever ran by the wayside. I didn't make any forward contact, he didn't make any backwards contact, so you know, it is what it is. So eventually we're going to go ahead and get that done, and then that's when I'll start putting in all the pieces parts. Like I said, I don't have future plans for this car to go boosted right now. I mean, I do want to do it, but A, the Whipple is like roughly around between, I don't know, let's say $8,000 to $12,000 installed. If I do it myself like I did it in the in Electra here, I'll save some costs there. The actual install of the supercharger isn't that difficult. You just have to have a buddy, you know, to go ahead and lend you a hand, because the actual head unit is pretty heavy, and you know, you don't want to drop it on your new car. But for the most part, the install isn't that bad once you take off the front end and do what you got to do. And with that being said, with the front end, when you do a front lip on this car, I've heard two different variations that you have to take the front end off to get everything done correctly. But I've seen people do it without taking the front end. So maybe at that point we will come back to maybe a front lip, and maybe at that time there will be more options out there for this car. But again, long tube headers will be going on Wasp. I don't know exactly when. I have a couple people interested in doing the job. Of course, no one's doing it for free, and I don't expect that. But you know, it's going to take me some time to get that money raised up and to get everything in where it needs to be. I also had to get some defowlers for the rear O2 sensors, because of course, you know, that even with a tune now, they don't turn those off because of the EPA and all that other good crap. So, you know, if you want to have them running but have, you know, not a check engine light on your dash, you need to get a defouler. I got two sets. I got a straight one and a curved one. I don't know which one works better for this vehicle. So that way when we go do the install, we at least have both of those ready to go. But for the most part, that is this video. Like I said, there is some plans for this car down the road. Driving it is one of my key things, because, you know, I don't really drive it, and I've told you that today. You know, I've had 20 miles on it now. So, like I said, we're just going to get into her and start driving. And like I said, once the weather warms up and people start doing more and there'll be more traveling, Brandon wants to take it to RTR because he got invited to go to one of their special things. And they're looking for an S650 to put on. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I work that weekend. It's the Martin Luther King weekend. And like I said, it's kind of, I don't like going places and coming back that same day. I've gotten older. I like to kind of chill around there and, you know, take in the sights and then come back. But we'll cross that path with this car. Like I said, I am working on it. I'm doing some stuff behind the scenes. It's not just a lawn ornament all the time. Like I said, all these cars just kind of sit around. I drive them when I can. I think I put gas in them once a month because I don't drive anything all the time. But that's just I guess a good problem to have, I suppose. But anyway, there's Wasp. We're gonna say goodbye now for this video, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. It's a little different. Had some little driving, a little pull, you know, and kind of the do's and don'ts, and some of the other things. And if there's any other questions y'all have about this car or any of the vehicles that I do own, please feel free to put it in the comments. And, you know, go ahead and take a look. Have a bag of popcorn, and we'll catch you on the next video.
Mueve tu bam bam, move it, dale, mami, mueve tu bam bam.